Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lens. I am your host, Kaitana Davis, alongside with
May Patience.
And for the next 2 hours, we'll explore the critical intersections of politics and economics at national, regional, and global levels. Join us as we unpack the latest developments, engage with expert guests, and hear your thoughts. Let's gain a clearer perspective on the issues that shape our world. Stay tuned and let's dive in.
First on the table is the Ebola outbreak in Uganda. Now, the index case patient was a 32-year-old male nurse who developed symptoms on the 19th of January and unfortunately passed on 10 days later.
So he was the first patient of the Sudan of the disease, the epidemic, right?
Yes, sir. And the second reported patient, was unfortunately his wife.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yes, and so far 298 contacts of the couple have been identified, with 7 confirmed cases. And the World Health Organization said that there are 2 main clusters in the outbreak, a family cluster and a healthcare facility cluster. However, there are no further details on the healthcare facility cases, but the index patient, unfortunately, we do not know his name, visited a traditional healer.
Oh, that's really funny.
What are they called?
Exactly. Something like that.
Yeah. He visited a traditional healer and 3 separate health clinics before he died in Kampala.
Yeah, he was trying to save his life.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Could you please explain to our listeners the precautions that one can take to prevent the disease?
Yeah, sure, no problem. But before I do that, I'd like to give you some more insight. Yes, information from the CDC, that is the Center for Disease Control. And according to the CDC, the previous Ebola Sudan outbreaks have a CFR. The CFR is the case fatality rate. It has a case fatality rate of about 50%. And in Uganda alone, the last Ebola outbreak in 2022, which included 164 cases and 55 deaths, which amounts to a 34%.
That's
34%
really
CFR.
Yeah.
And currently, there are no suspected cases of the outbreak outside of Uganda. Well, that is both good and bad news.
Then.
Well, before I tackle the precautions, I'd like to let you know how this disease actually spreads.
You could please explain to us.
So it is through human to human transmission.
Yeah.
That is direct contact or indirect. Concerning direct contact, it could be through touching, shaking hands with an infected person, bodily fluids, that is blood, sweat. Indirectly, it could be coming into contact with contaminated objects, such as bedding, clothing of the infected persons. This disease could also be spread through funeral practices. And especially in African cultures, funeral practices involve a lot of touching and handling of the body. So a person is susceptible to this. And also, it could be spread through poor healthcare infrastructure. Due to the inadequate healthcare facilities and lack of personal protective equipment, a person could actually catch this disease. Lack of awareness and cultural and social factors also contribute to the spread of this deadly disease. Animal migration, by the way, is a factor. Interesting, right? Animal migration, because infected animals carry this disease far and wide. And we do know that people, they do eat this stuff.
So we could ask to watch a video on the precautions of this deadly disease, and then we could explain them later verbally. How's that?
Sure, no problem.
That's good.
Your vigilance could be key in preventing the next major disease outbreak. Here are some important signs of human, animal, and environmental health that you should be on the lookout for. Unexpected bleeding from any part of the body in a person at any age. Anyone with fever and rash. Unusually high number of people from the same location buying drugs for the same illness from a drug shop. A cluster of animal deaths. Unusual numbers of children absent from the same school or class due to same illness. Unusual change in physical water quality parameters of drinking water sources, for example, color, taste, odor, suspended solid, and turbidity. If you have seen any of these signs or any public health emergencies, please send a text message to 6767. By staying vigilant and monitoring these signals, we can help prevent public health outbreaks.
Yeah.
Early detection.
Okay, yeah, that was really a great video that explains the precautions. So we urge you, our fellow Ugandans, to take caution against this deadly disease. Yes, Ebola is real. Yes, don't shake hands. Don't get into contact with infected persons, and don't you get into contact with the liquids, with liquid wastes from the infected persons.
And please avoid unnecessary travel.
Yeah.
You can do without the trip. Please do not make the trip.
Yeah, you can't miss the trip. Then in our next news, we have
The Kawempe
by-elections. Whoa, that's really good. And we've been having, recently there was a debate with the NUP members. And, they have been talking about their ideas, their plans that they have for the great constituency of Kawempe. Yes, do you know how that Kawempe thing came up? Well, after the death of the great Sejinya, they had to carry out by-elections. Yeah, may his soul rest in peace. So, well, among the contestants, we have Moses Ali Jemba.
Who is he? Who is that
He's
gentleman?
an NRM cadre and resident of Mbogo village.
Okay.
He aims to bridge political gaps and implement youth livelihood programs.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have Elias Luyimba Zinarukora. He's a city lawyer representing the National Unity Platform. He's one of the NUP contestants, and he focuses on developing youth talents in sports and improving road infrastructure, according to his debate.
I did watch a clip of the debate. Was it the gentleman who was holding up a cardboard saying, Mr. President, something, something? Is that him?
Yeah, I think he's the one. Yeah, because he's really loved by the youth. Yeah, and we also have Salim Serunkuma. Well, he's a businessman and a former candidate. He's dedicated.
Salim.
Yeah, Salim. It's really a nice name,
You
isn't it?
get
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a businessman and former candidate. He's dedicated to fighting youth unemployment through skills training initiative. Well, that's a good implementation policy.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have another MP contestant called Matthias Murumba, who's commonly known as Chikumicha Dola. Translated in English as $100, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's the LOC1 chairman of Corner Zone, and he emphasizes his extensive community service and aims to empower residents financially. Yeah, and another NRM MP aspirant, Olemas Mutumba. Yeah, he's another aspirant from the NRM party. Details about his specific platform are less publicized because, we've not had news from the NRM candidates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then Tom Fisher Kasenge, who's also an NRM party aspirant. Juliet Namale is a female candidate from the NRM party. She's part of the diverse group of aspirants. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we also have Uma Magara, candidate from the NUP. He's one of the individuals looking to secure the party's nomination. Yeah. Muhammad Mutazindwa, another NUP aspirant, who is part of the competitive field as well. Yeah, his implementation policies are not known yet. Then we have Kulia Solziwa, he's also representing NUP, and he's among the candidates aiming for the seat. We also don't know yet his future prospects in this seat.
NUP does seem to have very many participants in this,
it
doesn't
has
it?
participants. Yeah, and lastly, we have Alex Luwemba. He was the former aide to the late Sejirinya, and he's also in the position. Yeah. So, well, the debate was really good, and they discussed about their manifestos for the development of the Kawempe North constituency.
Oh yeah, I did
Yeah.
see it. It was quite, I must say, interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So those on your screen are the present noob, are the contestants on the noob ticket, and we pray they get on well.
May the best man win.
Yeah. So in our next news, we're going to see the conflicts in the present judicial system in Uganda between the Uganda Law Society and the Supreme Court. So, I mean, what is it that is going on between the Uganda Law Society and its president? What's his name again?
Isaac.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Yeah.
Ivan. I do not know why I call him
This
Ivan.
dysfunction
is
But
not
it's
what-
Mr. Isaac Semakade,
Yeah.
a very interesting
Man.
gentleman, a very blunt gentleman. You understand? He's
Okay.
unfiltered and
Okay.
unapologetic.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Isaac Semakade is condemning the military trials for civilians and has delayed the Supreme Court decision. And so this has caused a lot of feud.
Okay.
As you can see,
Yeah.
over the past week, he was, I will not say invited,
Okay.
but there was the annual general meeting, and all judicial members had to be there. We had the Chief Justice there, a couple of very many judges, and of course, the lawyers were represented by their president, Mr. Isaac Semakade. However, according to protocol, him being the president of the society, he had to speak.
Okay. Yeah.
But they completely scraped him out of it.
Oh,
And being
that's
Isaac
embarrassing.
Semakade,
Yeah.
it did not sit well with him. And he said, you know what, this is a moment for me to what? To act up. And this man is very audacious.
Okay.
He walked right up to the Chief Justice and whispered in his ear, how come I have not been given a
And what
spot?
was his reaction? What was Chief Justice's reaction?
Well, the Chief Justice took it calm. Being the Chief Justice that he is, he took it quite calmly, handled it with grace. But following his speech,
Yeah.
he did mention, well, he was kind at
Late-
first.
Yeah.
He was kind at first and said that he was not in charge of protocol and did not know why Isaac Semakade was not given a chance to speak. But then later on, you cannot hide the truth.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's really
And because of, I will say, unprofessional behavior, in Uganda, all judges are respected. This is a
Yeah, they
very
have to.
respectable position. You do not just wake up one morning and then this honor is bestowed upon you. You have to work for it.
Yeah.
But he insulted a judge, Judge Sekana.
Oh.
And after he insulted Judge Sekana, he thought, this is normal business. I just spoke my mind out. So you need to take it with grace, take it like a man, and walk about it. But did not sit right with our Chief Justice, Alfonso Owinyi. So, and given the, and given such a platform, I think he was thinking to himself, we cannot risk embarrassing
see.
ourselves because, he's just going to say it
Yeah.
as it is without thinking twice. So, unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah, he was not allowed to speak.
Yeah. Well, we could first listen to his own. I think we pray that I pray that we listen to what he said about this situation, and then we get back to you later.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, there is this cancer. I do not know where it is coming from. I do not know why it is happening now. It is a trend, very dangerous trend, where people relish, people find pride, people think they have greatness in attacking instead of criticizing judicial officers. Name them and say unthinkable, unprintable, the type of thing you would not say near your sister, near your mother, but they will say it openly. I cannot repeat those words. They are in the public domain. We, as the judiciary of Uganda, we've exercised self-restraint because of the oath we've taken. We've taken oath to render justice without fear. Even when they insult us, that should not intimidate us. To render justice without favor. Without any affection, and without bearing any ill will against those who offend us, even when they offend us at a personal level. Most unfortunately, the institution that should protect the judiciary most is the one leading in this ungodly assault on judicial officers. The world over, it is the law societies of the various jurisdictions who are always up in arms to defend the judiciary, to defend the courts of the respective countries. Because, first and foremost, a member of the law society is first and foremost responsible to the courts of the land. The moment you're enrolled as an advocate, what has been accorded you is the status of an officer of that court, the courts of judicature of that country. And by reason of that, you can represent justice seekers in court. By reason of that, you can practice and help develop your country. Now, when the leadership of a law society is the one taking the lead to drag judicial officers into the mud, is the one, just because a decision has been made which you're not happy with, and then when a decision is made which you think favors you, you're all over the place thinking the decision was made for you. Judges do not make decisions for any person. They make decisions in accordance with their understanding of the law. If the law favors you, it is the law that has favored you, not the judge. If the law does not favor you, it is not the judge who has not favored you, it is the law that has not favored you. Indeed,
to criticize it for far too long until we see positive change. It is a dysfunction engineered to serve entrenched economic and political interests that are usually not openly interrogated at forums like this one. The radical new bar was formed to challenge and dismantle these interests and to disrupt and disturb this kind of status quo. To be radical is to go to the root of the problem and begin to solve it from there. It is not extremism. It is very common to see a radical and mistake them for an extremist because their forms of expression and presentation are the same. But radicalism comes from the Latin word radix, and it means root. A radical is one who goes to the root of the matter and pulls it out by its roots. Radical solutions often feel extreme and cause extreme reaction to those who receive them and must act on them. But they are not extremist and should not always be taken to be so. Extremism is a mindset where a person always simply wants to demonstrate how different their views are from another person, and moreover to the farthest degree possible. This is not radical, it's just extreme. Many extremists are mistaken for radicals, and vice versa. I am a radical. My colleagues in the governing council of the Radical New Bar are radicals, but some in the government are extremists, and we have just witnessed that today. Our intention remains to compel power in this country to enable the delivery of justice as a constitutional right. This must apply to the highest ranking
individuals and the most ordinary citizens. The Ugandan prison system is heavily congested. Sentencing and incarceration have become arbitrary, wielded as tools of oppression and rather than justice. You've just heard the Chief Justice threaten me with, sentencing and incarceration. More and more imprisonment in Uganda results from poverty, it results from political opposition and offending the powerful. We have said this before, that the practice of law must be free to deliver justice to Ugandans who are suffering land grabbing, bad employment conditions, racial discrimination, sexual harassment, stolen elections, corporate theft, and unjust taxation, among others. The justice seekers. We are the voices of the justice seekers. But we are beginning, and today, or this month,
Okay.
But so is Ivan.
Yeah.
There we go again. And so is Mr. Isaac Semakade.
Semakade.
Because
Yeah.
you can see, yes, he is radical. And as he mentioned, he is radical indeed. And because he is radical, he cannot at all times practice restraint as he is expected
Yeah.
to be. However, being in such a position, sometimes he needs to think twice. Am I wrong for giving a view? Because a lawyer, you are representing an entire society.
Yeah.
You cannot just go out on air and use such brutal, vulgar
Yeah.
language and expect it to be
That's
taken
really-
lightly. But
yeah.
oh well, they will work it out.
Yeah, we are praying we are praying that the government gets to know the issue between the Law Society and the Supreme Court. They are both in the same sector, the judicial system. Yeah, well, in our other news, we are going to deeply talk about the current East African Community, SADC, or commonly known as South African Development Committee Joint Summit that was held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, on the February 8th, 2025. Oh, this saw the attendance of several key leaders.
Mhm.
And the reason this was called was to set the conflict
What conflict?
that is in the DR Congo.
Oh yeah.
We all want to see a peaceful Congo, don't we?
Definitely, definitely.
Because Congo is everything to us. It has the best minerals, that's everything. Yeah, but when Congo is in war, then it wouldn't be, lives are being claimed.
That is very
Yeah.
true, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. You know
Yeah,
that,
so
right?
obviously, as leaders, they have to get to look for a solution to solve this conflict, because it has been there for long.
Believe me, I believe there is a solution already,
Yeah.
but they're just dragging it.
So let us first list out those who attended the meeting. His Excellency Dr. William Samei Ruto, who's also the chairperson of the East African Community and the President of the Republic of Kenya, was in attendance. His Excellency Dr. President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa.
There we go.
Yeah, he's also the chairperson of the South African Development Committee, also known as SADC. Then Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, was also in attendance.
Let us acknowledge
Yeah.
she is a female president.
Yeah,
ladies and
that's really
gentlemen.
good. Yeah.
Okay, please proceed.
It's okay. His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, attended, but he attended virtually. His Excellency Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, was also in attendance of the Great Summit. His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, President of the Federal Republic of Somalia. His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda. And our own grandfather, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, was also in attendance. His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, was also in attendance. His Excellency Lieutenant General Gervais Ndirakobuka, Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, represented the President of Burundi, His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye. And lastly, Honorable Lieutenant General Lala Monja Delphine Sahivelo, Minister of the Armed Forces, represented His Excellency Andry Rajoelina, President of the Republic of Madagascar. Well, this summit also saw the presence of His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Mr. Elias Magosi, Executive Secretary of SADC, Her Excellency Veronica M. Nduva, CBS Secretary General of the EAC. So this summit was greatly called to solve the conflicts, as I earlier said, in the DR Congo. All right, and I have a few reactions on the presidents, our own presidents from the East African community.
May I ask?
Yeah.
Is that all it's aimed at?
Okay, the other aims, of course, was promote unity. Yeah, they have other aims. Yeah, but the main reason, the spark of gold for the summit was the issue in Congo, because it's really, really putting our region to stake.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? The East African community aims at unity among the East African community states, but then the conflict in Congo makes it, it shows like we are trying to fall apart from each other.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the reactions from the presidents of the East African community. President of Tanzania on EAC and SADC Joint Summit, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan said, this joint summit meeting represents an opportunity to recommit our collective efforts in addressing the conflicts and reaffirm our sustainable peace and stability in the entire East African community and SADC regions. You see, that was really a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we really need peace. And our own president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said, my earlier proposal for this summit was that His Excellency Tshisekedi should speak directly to those who are in conflict with him, as this impacts all of us. There's no other forum better suited to address this issue than this summit. I therefore hope for a fruitful discussion. War is not a solution to everything.
That is true.
We sometimes need a diplomatic approach to these conflicts. Yeah. And the president of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, said, DRC cannot just tell us to keep quiet when they are mounting a security problem against our country. Nobody can tell us to shut up. We have been paying DRC and its leaders for a long time. We have shared our issues and asked DRC to address them, and they have refused. Let us not just have another meeting like the many we have had
before.
Yeah, well, I pray that His Excellency Paul Kagame changes his mind about this, his idea, because we don't really know the exact problem for his exact reason why he had to make such a statement. Yeah, we are not judging him, but we all ask for
peace. Took
a
whole different turn.
Yeah, and the chairperson of the East African Committee himself, the president of Kenya as well, William Samoei Ruto, said in one of his speeches that the recent escalation of hostilities in Goma and the surrounding areas is a stark reminder for the increasing fragility the situation represents, and that only collective action to facilitate a negotiated solution will offer relief. So, as you see, our East African leaders are willing to suppress this conflict that's going on in Goma, DRC, or in DR Congo, yeah, because they all want to say peaceful Congo. We are tired of saying war in Congo. You know what I'm saying? So that is why they call this summit, as you earlier asked. The ways.
So, what are the ways forward?
Well, the ways forward. They agreed on disarmament policy. They agreed on the continued peace talks
May I ask,
between the government and the rebels.
You know, it's quite strange how these rebels come to acquire such weaponry.
Yeah, well, we can't judge because we don't really know the exact source of those weaponry. Yeah, initially it was rumors had it that it was Rwanda supplying those weapons, but then Rwanda denied
having any association with it.
Claim,
yes.
2023. Yeah, but the presidents, but our leaders from both the EAC and SADC, it's really a great achievement for Africa, whereby two regional blocs have united for a common cause. Yeah, that really sees the unity. That really manifests the unity and development
The
of Africa
brotherhood.
as a continent. Yeah, we are all brothers despite of the continental boundary or of the country boundaries we've had. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we still pray for Congo. God bless Congo. And well, in other news, a great Islamic leader, Aga Khan, is
Gone
being
to be with the Lord.
has breathed his last. He breathed his last on the February of 8th, 2025. Well, he was a great guy, really rich guy. You want to know about?
As news of the Aga
I
Khan's
never
passing
really
spread, a line of cars
took time
slowly
to
flowed.
know about the
Yeah.
late Aga Khan until recently.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I knew about Aga Khan International,
Yeah,
but
you
then
know
that's
about
all I
Aga Khan.
knew until,
Well,
it's-
Aga
it's-
Khan.
it's lovely that his reputation goes before him.
Yeah. Well, Aga Khan passed away on February 4th, 2025, at the age of 88 in Lisbon, Portugal. But no specific cause of death has been provided. That's the worst thing. But his death prompted global reactions and with tributes highlighting his philanthropic legacy and leadership. He was really a great man, wasn't he? Well, and he was the leader of what they call the Ismaili community.
What is the Ismaili
Well, the Ismaili community is a group of Muslims that united. Okay, it's some long history. Muslim group that. Let's first dive into the history of the Islamic. First play the video. Well, the Islamic community is a group of Muslims that sees its history from the 8th century. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, since the 8th century AD, and there are approximately 15 to 20 million people in the whole world.
Nairobi, summer 2011. A visit by a person of exceptional importance is awaited. All the media in Kenya are eager to be there when the guest arrives. He is a religious leader, a diplomat, an aristocrat, and a citizen of the world. Nairobi is only one among the many places where he is active. Karim Aga Khan arrives with his daughter, Princess Zara. He is someone who makes a lasting impression on everyone he meets.
Someone who's passionately concerned about the well-being of people all over the world.
He's really empathetic. He's really putting of himself into the world.
What an extraordinarily thoughtful, careful, but daring thinker he is.
His vision of the world, how it should be, how we can help to have a better world for our next generations.
There's this integrity about what I feel he represents, which is just a very powerful thing.
When His Highness comes, it's really his interest and appreciation of the work that is being done here that makes a big difference.
The Aga Khan and Kenyan President Kibaki are to open the new Heart and Cancer Research Centre today at the Aga Khan University Hospital, which was built in 1958. It is part of the Aga Khan Development Network, which maintains 325 health facilities in Asia and Africa. These are non-profit institutions, initiated by the Aga Khan and sponsored by himself, donors, and the Ismaili community. His father, Prince Ali Khan, who was married to Rita Hayworth, was a regular guest at high society parties during the post-war years and was well known for his lavish lifestyle. His son, Karim, is still frequently associated with some of the passions of his father.
So, Davis, tell me more about Aga Khan.
Yeah, well, Aga Khan IV, also known as Prince Karim Aga Khan, was the 49th hereditary Imam of the Shia Ismaili Muslims, as you had earlier asked me.
Yeah.
Well, and a prominent spiritual leader. He passed away on the February 4th, 2025 at the age of 88 and was revered for his contributions to community development and interfaith dialogue. So well, earlier he was born on 13th December 1936 in Geneva, Switzerland, as Karim Al Husseini, and he was the son of Prince Ali Khan and Joan Yad Bola, and spent much of his childhood in Nairobi, Kenya. Well, educated in Switzerland as well, Landgate, and at Harvard University, where he graduated with a degree in Islamic history in 1959. Yes, Aga Khan really loved his religion and really loved his history. Well, he became the 49th Imam of the Nizari Ismaili community in 1957 at the age of 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Following
People, what are you doing at 20?
What are you doing at 20 right now?
What are you doing at 20?
Yeah, following the death of his grandfather, Aga Khan III. His leadership emphasized the integration of spirituality with everyday life, advocating for the well-being of his followers, and established a global seat for the Ismaili the Ismaili community in Portugal in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he also had the philanthropic efforts. For example, he founded the Aga Khan Development Network, which we find the Aga Khan schools, hospitals, which support education, health, and economic development initiatives in various regions, particularly in South Asia and East Africa. So those who go to Aga Khan schools and Aga Khan hospitals, he is your founder. Yeah. And he also initiated the Institute of the Ismaili Studies in 1977 to promote academic research on Ismaili history and culture. Yeah.
Okay.
His philanthropic work included funding hospitals, schools, and scholarships, significantly impacting the communities he served. Yes, despite the fact that he was rich, he really wanted the best.
He really had a heart for the people.
Yeah, he really wished the best for the people. As you've seen in the video earlier, many people were commenting about him, about how he has changed
his empathy and all that.
So he also practiced business, by the way.
Definitely, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, well, he held extensive investments in various sectors, including hotels, airlines, and real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his wealth was estimated to be between $1 billion and $13 billion US dollars, derived from his business interests and community ties.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. He was involved in high-profile projects, including luxury resorts, development initiatives in Central Asia and Africa. Well, Aga Khan, may you rest in eternal peace, and we thank you for having a hand in the development of the developing countries.
His reputation definitely does precede him.
Yeah. Well, as you know, as the Muslim culture, Aga Khan married twice. First to Sarah Crocker Poole in 1969.
Say that again, Crocker Poole.
Sarah Crocker Poole. I don't know, I think she was Polish or what, in 1969, with whom he had 3 children.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, as the Muslim thing, they have to, yeah. And later to Gabriel Zu Leningen in 1998, with whom he had a son.
Okay.
Yeah,
I expected you to say 4 kids.
No, he had a son with only Gabriel Zu Leningen.
Okay.
Yeah, Aga Khan personally lived in a jet-setting lifestyle known for his interests in sports, particularly skiing and horse racing. Yeah, and his legacy continues through his son Rahim, who is going to succeed him as the Aga Khan the 5th.
How old is Rahim?
Rahim is 50 years old.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's an old man.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And legacy, he also left a legacy. For example, he's remembered as a bridge between cultures. He promoted interfaith dialogue and understanding.
Yeah.
He also had great contributions to the Ismaili community and the broader world, have left a lasting impact, emphasizing the importance of social responsibility and community service. Well, Aga Khan, we're going to talk about the world reaction for his death, after his death, the world reaction from the world leaders.
Mhm.
Yeah. His passing elicited a wave of condolences and tributes from around the world. For example, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described him as an extraordinarily compassionate global leader and addressed that he would be deeply missed. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, various charity
A jewel
organizations.
indeed.
Yeah, so
Contributions to history and the arts.
also various charity organizations and equestrian communities also have shared their condolences, reflecting on his significant contributions to society. And ceremonies are being held in Ismaili communities globally, demonstrating the profound impact he had on his followers. So let's first watch Justin Trudeau's reaction for Aga Khan's death.
Mostly with the Aga Khan.
He saw Canada as a model for the world. He saw it as one of the most pluralistic, compassionate countries in the world that others should aspire to.
The Ismailis refer to their place of worship as a Jamat Khana, a place to come together. Now, to remember a man whose impact ran deep. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, as we wait for that video, we also have the succession processions, being a culture in the Islamic
Where we have
community.
Mr. What's his son's name again?
His son is called Prince Rahim.
Prince
Al
Rahim. He has a
Yeah.
fortune to inherit.
Yeah. So
And a
he was
legacy to keep
named-
alive.
Yeah, yes, really.
As news of the Aga Khan's passing spread, a line of cars slowly flowed into Toronto's Ismaili Centre, a chance to be together, to pray, and to reflect.
It's a sad day for a person my entire life we have known and has done nothing but great things for the world and for the community, and we're all here to pay respects.
An overflow crowd of more than 2,000 expected.
We've been here 50 years, and to have this legacy that he's given us, it's unbelievable that we've made this many strides in this country.
A major part of his legacy, the Aga Khan Museum here in Toronto, a chance to reflect on Muslim contributions to history and the arts, and to connect with the wider world. In Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reflected on his impact.
His Highness the Aga Khan was an extraordinarily compassionate global leader, a man of vision, of faith, and of incredible generosity.
Canada's former ambassador to Afghanistan and Jordan, Arif Lalani, worked closely with the Aga Khan.
He saw Canada as a model for the world. He saw it as one of the most pluralistic, compassionate countries in the world that others should aspire to.
The Ismailis refer to their place of worship as a Jamat Khana, a place to come together. Now, to remember.
Well,
I'd like to know about the succession process and how it's going to be done, since he has quite a fortune. He has left quite a fortune behind. So what do they intend to do with it?
Au contraire, we shall have to follow. Well, he made a will whereby this succession process is going to follow. Yeah, successor to be announced after the formal reading of his will in Lisbon with family and religious leaders present was his son, Prince Hassan, a 50-year-old.
Has it already been scheduled?
Yeah, he has been declared as the Aga Khan the Fifth.
No, I mean the reading. Has it already been scheduled?
Oh yeah, because he's being buried today in Egypt, in Aswan.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I think that's why the will be read. And his son, as I said earlier, Prince Hassan Rahim, has been named Aga Khan the Fifth, continuing his father's focus on development and interfaith collaboration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about great leaders
Yeah.
having their successes come in a time later,
Yeah.
just like King Charles,
Yeah, I feel.
he became king at how old? 70 years old?
Yeah, I think 70 years old. Yeah.
Anyway, I guess it prepares them because they have a huge mantle to carry.
Yeah, they have a lot of time to prepare for that throne. Unlike late Aga Khan, who ascended the throne at just the age of 20.
He probably had no choice, but he did quite well.
He
That
really
was a
had
very good
great
job done.
developments.
A very good job done.
So,
About it, tell me.
well, sorry for the earlier inconvenience for the history of the Shia Ismaili Muslims. Well, this is a group of Muslims
Mhm.
who have a rich history dating back to the 8th century AD.
Mhm.
Yeah. These are a branch of the Shia Islam, and they are a global community of approximately between 15 to 20 million people. They are also Muslims.
I beg your pardon, did you say million or billion?
Million, 15 to 20 million people.
Okay.
Yeah, living in over 25 countries.
Awesome.
Yeah, out of 198 countries we have on this planet, with significant populations in Central Asia, in Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan. They also have a group of these Ismaili Muslims in South Asia, in Pakistan and India.
Mhm.
We also have them in the Middle East, in Syria, Iran, and the Great United Arab Emirates.
Mhm.
Yeah, we also have them in Africa, particularly our
North.
neighbors, both the Tanzanians and Kenyans. No,
Oh.
yeah, our neighbors.
Surprising.
Yeah, that's where it is said he spent most of his childhood
In Nairobi.
Kenya. Yeah, so I think his presence had a great impact
Mhm. Yeah, he
on the
definitely
people of
did.
Kenya. Yeah, and then in Europe, but surprisingly, you also have Muslims in Europe and North America, but most of these are those living in the diaspora.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they still respect him as their great imam.
Okay.
Yeah, well, these kinds of Muslims, they believe in the authority of the great Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the authority of his cousin and son-in-law, Ali ibn Abi Talib, as the first imam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they believe Muhammad's cousin was the first leader. His name is called Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he was the first imam. That's where the succession line comes from.
Is that where they're all called Al? They have that Al thing.
Ali, I think. No, he's Ali.
Ali.
Yeah. Well, the Ismailis as well believe in a continuous line of imams who are the spiritual and temporal leaders of the community. And they recognize the authority of the Aga Khan, who is the 49th imam of the Shia Ismaili Muslims.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Is Aga Khan a title or it is a name?
I think Aga Khan is a title, not a name.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see, he's called Aga Khan the Fourth.
The Aga Khan.
The Fourth, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clear.
Well, this movement also has
to the succession
key principles. They have the Tawhid, unity of God. They believe in the oneness of God, and they have the Imamat, which is the leader.
To the succession of the Prophet Muhammad. We'll all remember that the Prophet Muhammad was a temporal leader. He was a religious leader as well, and for some, he was also
As news of the Aga Khan's
Well, as we all pray that his son carries on the legacy of his father. Yeah.
Just as good as he did. Or he could do it better.
Mm-hmm. Well, Aga Khan also had some good achievements. He was not only, by the way, a religious leader. He was a philanthropic leader.
And by that, what do you mean?
Yeah, he transformed lives globally through the Aga Khan Development Network.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, abbreviated as the AKDN.
AKDN.
Yeah, focusing on both healthcare,
and education.
So in Shia Islam, as some of us may remember, all of the Prophet's authority continues in an institution known as the Imamate. And according to Shia Islam, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, Ali ibn Abi Talib, is the first Imam in this institution of Imamate, inheriting all of the authority of the Prophet, religious, temporal, spiritual. In Sunni Islam, as we know, the notion of authority goes to different parties. So you have the notion of the caliphate, which inherits sort of the political authority. Then you have the ulama, who end up holding religious authority. And for those who are Sufis, the Sufi sheikhs end up with spiritual authority. Now, of course, none of this happened overnight. This has been subject to development, but it's something we have to keep in mind, especially to understand Shia Islam. So in Shia Islam, then, the imamate is transmitted amongst the lineal descendants of Ali ibn Abi Talib. It goes through his son Hussein. And when the imamate reaches the sixth imam, Ja'far al-Sadiq, this becomes a critical point. Because after the death of the Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, the Shia community splits into two groups. And the reason why there's a split is because different groups adhere to a different son of this imam as to which son of Ja'far al-Sadiq should be the next imam. So, the group known as the Ismailis, not surprisingly, holds as imam Ismail, who was one of the elder sons of Ja'far al-Sadiq. And another group, which eventually became known as the Twelvers or the Ithna Asharis, adheres to a younger son by the name of Musa al-Kazim. And the reason why this group is called the Twelvers is because they trace several imams after Musa al-Kazim until the 12th imam of that line disappeared. And it is the belief of the Twelver Shia that this imam continues to exist today and that he will reappear near the Day of Judgment. So the Twelver Shia recognize 12 imams, that's why they're called the Twelver Shia. The Ismaili Shia, on the other hand, continue to trace the imamah through the line, the descendants of Ismail. And during this time, for about 150 years, the Ismaili imams were operating in secret. They had to live secretly. The reason...
Okay, well, yeah,
it's very nice how these people are knowledgeable of their history.
Yeah, that was
I was listening to
episode.
him speak, and oh my goodness. You're Christian, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
Do you know a little bit about the Christian history or anything of that sort?
Yeah, it's a long history.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah.
But not everybody can tell
Not everyone
it,
can
just
tell
like you
it.
could.
Yeah. Well, that
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we had for you
that
for
was
today.
all for today.
Thank you all very much for tuning in.
CBM Radio.
Until next time.
Next Monday, same time, tune in to the Lens.